Hi, people of YouTube. It's me, it's Andrew Fantasia, and it is also Casual Friday. Welcome aboard. We're just getting casual together here on Friday afternoon, and we're talking about a couple of developments that have happened over the course of this last week that in regards to a certain magical property and where it may be headed in the near future and why it may be headed there. But before we get there, please be sure to like, subscribe, click the bell, ring the bell. I don't know. Does the bell ring when you click it? I don't click too many bells myself, but if it does, do that so that you stay updated on all the digital charcuterie news. Keep watching this space for Super Tuesday, for more Casual Fridays, for Marvel United stuff, for all the fun stuff that we cover here. And hey, just going to let you in on a little secret. It's a little secret. If you are a fantasy fan, and you probably are if you clicked on this particular video, maybe you're thinking, hey, I want to read some good fantasy books, but I don't want to read those Harry Potter books now because there's too much controversy, or I've already read Lord of the Rings and Tolkien's estate has enough money, or George R.R. Martin is never finishing his series, so why should I bother with that? If you're just looking for a fantasy book series to fill that gap in your life that I know is there, well, I've got good news for you. You can get exactly what you want and help out an up and coming author by going to Amazon right now and getting my fantasy books that I self published and wrote myself. These are them right here. They're called We Were Wizards. Okay, and you can get them right now. Sorry, there's thumbprints on this one just because the light catches it in a weird way and the covers are like that. But these are the hardcover copies of We Were Wizards, and you can get them in ebook and paperback as well. The purple one comes first, and the silver one is next. They are the first two books in a very big series that I have been writing for a long time, and I'm very excited to finally share them with the world. And these are no slouch. These are some nice, big, chunky books that you are going to get your money's worth with 100%. And they're just full of fun and magic and wizards and fantasy and adventure and swords. And I can't guarantee this, but there may in fact be scorpions bigger than scorpions that we have here on Earth. So there's also that. So check out We Were Wizards if you like fantasy. It's available on Amazon all over the world right now. Tell everybody you know. But in the meantime, we're going to get casual, and we are going to talk about our topics for today, starting with some fan email questions. We had people writing in last week. We love answering when people write in. And if you have questions you want to write in and ask us, you can ask us right now by emailing us at digitalcharcuterie@gmail.com. And if we, make the questions easy, because we're not all that bright, but we're going to do our best to answer them for you. So here you go. We got a few questions here today from some viewers. This one comes from Bohemian, who says, hi, I know you said Blue Beetle is doomed to fail, but if it is good and it fails, will James Gunn still keep it for the new DC universe? Cheers. Thanks for your question, Bohemian. I hope so. That's my stance on the DC world at large, because I really liked the first Aquaman. I thought the first Shazam was a ton of fun. I love both Wonder Woman movies. I don't care. Come at me. And I really, really like James Gunn's Suicide Squad. So I think there's a big chunk of the former DC universe that can carry over. Like, I like all the Zack Snyder stuff too, but obviously they're removing themselves from that. So fine, whatever. But the stuff that's not Snyder, you could still find a creative way to slip it in, maybe. And Blue Beetle, granted, it's coming out later, so maybe they already have plans to keep it in regardless, but Blue Beetle looks like it's going to be a lot of fun. It looks like it could fit kind of in the world set up by James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and I think that's our baseline, right? We have to look at that as our baseline. James Gunn is not erasing his own movie. It's just not going to happen. So what we have to ask ourselves is, if something feels like it fits in that world, and to a lesser extent in the world of Peacemaker, then I think it's safe. I think Aquaman and Flash are safe because we saw their faces in Peacemaker. Granted, Ezra Miller is a whole other story, and I'm not going to go there right now, but I think and I hope, because like I said, I love Aquaman 1. Like, I thought it was splendid. I hope that Aquaman's 1 and 2 will be able to just slide neatly into the canon of whatever this new world is going to be. And hopefully, Flash is excellent and it gets to do that too. So, with regards to Blue Beetle, Bohemian, it looks like we can hopefully fit it in the same way. We can hopefully look at it like an Aquaman and like a Flash, where if it looks like this movie is going to fit in that world that James Gunn has already started setting up, then we're safe. If not, it's a possibility. But at least we can just watch Blue Beetle as a standalone superhero movie and enjoy it that way. That's our only recourse if things go south in regards to what's canon and what's not here now. At least Blue Beetle looks like it's just going to be a fun superhero movie that could stand on its own. But I will say this, and this is sort of the final. I don't know what's the opposite of a nail in the coffin, because a nail in the coffin seems like a bad thing, and this is a good thing. So it's the opposite. It's the final removing of a nail in the coffin, and that coffin being Blue Beetle not being part of this new universe. The final thing that kind of assures us that that won't be the case, which is James Gunn knows DC. He knows all the corners of the DC real well. So he's smart enough to know that one of the most important partnerships in DC Comics that has yet to be explored on the big screen, maybe even the small screen in any way, is Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Those two are BFFs. And Booster Gold, I am pretty confident, is a perfect James Gunn kind of character, right? If you know anything about Booster Gold, he is that kind of character. If you've ever seen Mystery Men with William H. Macy and Ben Stiller, the character played by, oh gosh, I'm blanking on his name, but there was a character named Captain Amazing in that movie who was essentially Booster Gold. And that is a very James Gunn kind of character. So I can almost guarantee James Gunn is going to have Booster Gold show up. And if Booster Gold shows up, he kind of works well. He plays well. He goes hand in hand with Blue Beetle. So I think the odds of Blue Beetle being removed from James Gunn's canon are very, very low. I think we're safe, unless this movie ends up being atrociously bad. And I don't think it will. I think it's just going to be a fun old time with just suits and alien mechs and all kinds of stuff, and Susan Sarandon being evil. I think we're all going to have a good time with Blue Beetle. I feel like it's safe. Thanks for your question, Bohemian. The next question comes from Travis. Travis asks, do you think Clayface would be a big villain or minor in Batman 2? Thanks for this question, Travis. Clayface. Oh, boy. We all know James has talked about Clayface, so I'm not going to touch on this too long. He's got a lot of great videos about it if you want to go check those out. But here's what I'll say about Clayface. He's such an outlier when it comes to Batman villains. At least I've always seen him as such. Because he's got something most Batman villains don't. Most Batman characters don't, which is a superpower. He is a super-powered person. You know, like Mr. Freeze has guns, right? That's not really like he's got this suit, whatever. He integrates well into the non-power world of Batman. But somebody like Clayface, somebody like Poison Ivy, there's really no logical scientific explanation for how they work. So they are super-powered at the end of the day. So if we get a Clayface in the Batman 2 or in the Penguin show, I feel like this is what's going to happen. And people are either going to love this or hate this, but I feel like we're going to not diminish the character, but they are really going to chisel the character down to his base functions and not make him a giant clay monster. But I think they're going to just take it a more realistic route. and just make it somebody who is a master of disguise, or it's just somebody who had like a botched plastic surgery and now they got a messed up face. They're going to do something creative with Clayface so that the movie does not contain a giant mud man who goes around impersonating people like Mystique. I think we're going to get that in a more grounded, down-to-earth way. I'm okay with it being a giant mud monster. It's just, does that fit with what we got in the Batman 1? Not necessarily. I'm really curious to see how they would pull something like that off. It doesn't sound easy. So I'm going to vote that Clayface would be minor if he shows up at all. That's what I think, Travis. Thank you for your question. And the last question comes from Rory, who says, Happy Easter. Thanks, Rory. Happy Easter to you, too. Do you think Ahsoka will be underwhelming like Obi-Wan Kenobi and the Book of Boba Fett? Well, thanks for your question, Rory. First of all, I mean, obvious answer here is underwhelming is in the eye of the beholder, my friend. Book of Boba Fett, I did not think was underwhelming at all. I thought it was fantastic. I love the Book of Boba Fett. Obi-Wan Kenobi, on the other hand, underwhelming, that might be the right word for it. I feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi just did a lot of stuff right, and then it did a lot of stuff not right. So they just kind of, the weight of those both brought each other down. Do I think Ahsoka is going to be like that? God, I hope not. I don't think so. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi's flaws, for me, just from my opinion, its flaws came from its writing. I don't think the writing in Ahsoka is going to suffer the same, because I don't think it's going to have the same writers behind it, as far as I know. Joby Harold has nothing to do with the Ahsoka show. This is all Filoni and some of his people, maybe Favreau. So that is not, the weaknesses of Obi-Wan are not weaknesses that I have ever seen exploited by Filoni in any way that I can remember. So I feel like we're in safe hands, my friend. I feel like the Ahsoka show is not going to go down that route where it's going to make some baffling choices, where it's going to, I mean, let me just lay those cards on the table so it makes sense what I'm talking about here. The Obi-Wan show's biggest fault, in my opinion, just my opinion, the Obi-Wan show's biggest sin that it committed was it turned lightsabers into a joke. If you get stabbed through the gut with a lightsaber, you're just like, whatever. Walk it off. Grand Inquisitor, I'm fine. Reva, I'm good. Right? That was its biggest flaw, as far as I can remember. It's been a year now, but those were the things that stood out where I'm like, oh my God, why are they stabbing people if it's not going to matter? And I think Filoni and his writing team know better. Right? I just feel like they know better. I feel like they're treating the lightsabers with more dignity than that. So the Ahsoka show, I don't think you have anything to worry about if you didn't like Kenobi or if you didn't like Boba Fett. I don't think you have anything to worry about. The Ahsoka show is going to be a different animal. We're in safe hands. There's orange lightsabers now. Master Wuyan, or whatever his name is, the droid that's played by David Tennant, is back. We're in good company with this show. This is going to be fine. So thank you for those questions, everybody. Once again, if you got questions you want to send in, just send them over to digitalcharcuterie@gmail.com, and we will try to answer them to the best of our knowledge. Our knowledge is not very big. We're not smart people. Don't let the glasses fool you. But now our main topic for Casual Friday has got to be Max. And I'm not talking about your friend, Max, who lives down the street. I'm talking about the new streaming service that HBO Max is going to become. And the best way I can preface this and how I feel about it is like this. I live in Canada. Okay. Here in Canada, American viewers, American listeners, you really, unless you come here and visit, you cannot understand just how much I can't stress this enough unless you come see it firsthand. Here in Canada, we get about 40% of everything that you guys get. We have 40% of the foods that you have. We have 40% of the stores that you have. We have 40% of the name brands that you have. You guys just have so much more to choose from, right? You have just more. So many, many times throughout my life, I have seen an advertisement for something or seen news about something and gotten excited about it, and then realized to my dismay that as a Canadian citizen, I don't get that. That is United States only. Usually that's with like contests. Ugh. You're dirty. You're dirty with your contests, companies. US citizens only. Anyway, so there's literally 60% of the stuff that you guys have as like a normal thing you take for granted every day, we do not get, period. And I have lived 35 years of my life thinking, damn, that sucks that we don't get XYZ. This is the first time that I can think of in my whole life where I have seen news about something coming out or some piece of entertainment happening where I thought, damn, I'm really glad I live in Canada and not the USA right now. Because here in Canada, this isn't happening. We're not getting HBO Max turning into just Max, as far as I know. We have a streaming thing called Crave HBO, which is tied into our cable package. So if you have a cable package that has Crave, Crave includes HBO, and it also includes a very small selection, like really small selection of other shows and movies that just happen to be streaming that you can check out. It's like literally take what's on Disney Plus and take like a quarter of that. That's how much is on Crave. So it's not a lot, but it's something. So we don't have to worry about Max coming next year. But Americans have that, and I'm so sorry to hear that. Welcome to the world of Canada where something disappointing is happening. But the big story that came out this week regarding Max, which is so stupid, this name, Max. The big story about Max is that the thing they want to sell their platform on is that they are going to reboot Harry Potter. The arguably most controversial piece of fiction on planet Earth right now, the thing that has even the most diehard fans saying they will not support new stuff from its creator because of politics and controversy and all that stuff, which we're not going to touch here, but just it is what it is. That's what's happening in the world of Harry Potter right now. That is what they are putting their chips on. That is what Warner Discovery is putting their chips on and saying, this is what's going to get people to come to Max, is a reboot of, let's face it, a really well-liked, I'll go so far as to say beloved 8-film series that is still pretty fresh in everyone's minds. It's only like a decade old, that did a fantastic job adapting these 7 very hefty books, that nobody seems to have any problem with those movie adaptations, but everybody seems to have a problem with J.K. Rowling and her intellectual property. They decide, let's remake that as a 10-year Max series. I mean, there's a quote from The Lost World Jurassic Park where Ian Malcolm is talking to Ludlow, and he says to him, taking dinosaurs off this island is the worst idea in the long, sad history of bad ideas. And I couldn't help but think of that quote when I heard this news. Just the layers upon layers of awfulness that this news is. We're going to rebrand ourselves to Max. We're not moving forward with Fantastic Beasts, which a lot of people seem to think was cool. I know it didn't make great box office pull. Maybe I haven't really checked the numbers, but those movies are good. They're fine. They're pretty, competent films. that's an interesting original story. They're going to pull that. Instead, they're going to take this beloved film series by a creator that everybody hates now and readapt them into a Max series. Like that is a sandwich right there. Everything I just listed is a sandwich of bad ideas. And I know, like, who am I to talk? I'm just a guy here in a chair. I'm not an executive. I don't make decisions like this. But that's the thing. Even a guy in a chair whose only foray into the world of entertainment is writing some admittedly pretty sexy books. But this guy in a chair and many, many other women and men and people in general and human beings in chairs just like me have been able to look at this news and say, that's dumb. That is some stupid, stupid business practice right there. So whatever is going on at Warner Discovery, I just hope somebody, some cooler heads prevail. Someone walks into the room with some common sense and says, let's not do this. And I'm not the first one to point this out. It's been all over Twitter. But the second I watched that abysmally empty nothing teaser that they put out for this Harry Potter series, I noticed the same thing everybody else notices. Okay, so you're trying to be all new, all different. So you use the same shot of Hogwarts from the movies, you use the same font from the movies, and you use the same John Williams Harry Potter theme from the movies. Yeah. Real different. You're breaking new ground. You are a Harry Potter pioneer. That's what you are. I don't say this often. I don't, because I love art and I love creativity and I love things being made, but I hope this never gets made. I hope this never gets made, because it's going to, guaranteed, it's not going to last the full 10 years or whatever that they want it to. It's not. People are not going to be that interested in it. I don't know a soul who is interested in it, and I know a lot of diehard Harry Potter fans, myself included. I'm one of them. I don't know a soul who is interested in this. So the viewership is going to be low, which means if it gets made, it's going to get very quickly unmade, which means you're going to have all these child actors who are going to be given false hope. That's the worst part about this. You're going to hire a bunch of young up-and-coming actors and say, hey, you're going to be the next Hermione Granger. You're going to be the next Draco Malfoy. It is going to make that kid's day. That's going to be the best news they've ever heard in their life. They're going to be so happy. They're going to work hard. They're going to put all their dedication into this character, and then the show is going to get canceled. It could be a great show, too. They could do a fantastic job when they're on camera, bringing the world of Harry Potter to life. But I guarantee you, people don't care. People don't want this show. They're not going to watch it. So Zaslav and whoever is sitting on his lap right now up in the boardroom is going to be like, well, we should cancel. And they're going to cancel. And these kids are going to be, sent an email that says, yeah, we're not going to be needing you for a season 2. And those kids, that's it. That's all. That is exactly what is going to happen. Let's not pretend it's going to go any other way. Maybe if the stars line up just right and the moon is red in the 7th house of Aquarius, whatever, maybe it'll get renewed for a second season. Maybe. But that's only if the show is so good that word of mouth gets people to watch it, because right now word of mouth is what is keeping the show down. Everybody is like, hey, we don't want this. I just hope this doesn't get made so that those kids don't have to go through that primarily. And so that that money that gets wasted on this world that never comes to fruition can go towards something better. Like the money you could have put towards Westworld season 4. Or 5, rather. See? My bad. But, put that money towards another Batman movie. I don't know. Put it towards something that people want, or something new that people didn't know they wanted yet, which is even better. But anyway, that's how I feel about Max and Harry Potter. Let us know in the comments. Do you think this show needs to exist? And if so, why? If not, why not? What do you feel about this news? There's room here in Canada if you want to come join us, where you'll still be able to see the HBO name and logo on TV when you log in to watch, I don't know, House of the Dragon or whatever it is you're watching. But that has been Casual Friday. You can tell it's casual because I'm just sitting here drinking. I'm not even editing anything. This is just going to go up right here, au naturel, the way you see it. I'm Andrew Fantasia. Thank you so much for watching here on the Digital Charcuterie channel. Until next time, my friends, may you be the masters of your own destiny. And also, Wingardium Leviosa.